Final Fantasy VII Rebirth on this thing has a better graphical fidelity than the Xbox Series S. Star Wars Outlaws running on it with ray-traced shadows and lighting. Devil May Cry 5 running at an uncapped frame rate. And Modern Warfare 4, the first Call of Duty to skip the last generations of consoles this generation, is also coming to this platform. And now one of the biggest Souls-likes of this generation is going on this console and taking full graphical advantage of its features. Man, if you aren't sold on the Nintendo Switch 2 yet, I don't know what to tell you at this point. But anyway, let's go ahead and get on into it. Gamers and game, that's what is going on. My name is Tanek027 and welcome back to another video. And guys, in today's video, we're going to be talking about Lies of P. However, if you want to stay up to date on all things Lies of P, make sure you are liking today's video, subscribing to the channel if you are new, and let's go ahead and get on into today's topic. So, as you guys know, it's no secret, I have a pretty decent history with NEOWIZ and Round8 and some of their titles. I was a huge fan of Bless Unleashed, despite the game's reputation and stuff that it had, and it did end up shutting down in the long run. I've been covering Lies of P here off and on the channel literally since they dropped that very first alpha trailer. I streamed my reaction to them shadow dropping a demo at a PlayStation State of Play, and you guys better believe now that the game's coming to the Switch too, I have been hype on that as well. Well, not too big crazy news here or anything, but it's more so, just a video to show you that, the Nintendo Switch 2 is a capable console and definitely something you should be looking at for one, if not one of your main next-gen purchases, at least, in my opinion. It is taking one of the biggest Souls-likes of this generation, Lies of P, and it's going to be running it at 60 FPS. NEOWIZ and Round8, they just dropped a brand new trailer yesterday for Lies of P Complete Edition, which is going to be dropping on all platforms in August. However, the biggest thing about this is the fact that the game is coming to the Nintendo Switch 2 with its expansion and all of its, past content updates and stuff like that. If you look here at the footage at the beginning of this trailer, here at the bottom of the screen, it specifically says footage shown on Nintendo Switch 2 running at 60 FPS. Now, for those who don't know, and if you haven't played Lies of P is basically a spiritual successor to Bloodborne based on a gothic version of the story of Pinocchio. And it is a really good game, really solid story. Definitely a 10 out of 10 I would recommend. I love this game. My only complaint was they could have, added some type of, like summoning multiplayer component to it. And I was really surprised, since NEOWIZ and Round8 are, known for their MMOs and the Bless series and stuff like that. I'm really shocked that they didn't put any type of multiplayer component in this game in some way, shape, or form. But throughout Lies of P's life cycle, we learned all kinds of rumors, that they were working on more content for the game. They did eventually make an expansion for it, which, I'm actually still working my way through. I'm probably just going to do a big replay through when it launches on Switch 2. And, there's even rumors that they're already hard at work on the sequel for Lies of P, which, honestly, guys, I can't wait for because that game had a lot of teasers leading up to another game. Like I was saying before, it is one of the most graphically impressive games of this generation. And this one is also going to be coming on Nintendo Switch 2 at 60 FPS, which I just think is very impressive for this console. Again, people have been comparing it to the PlayStation 4. There's been all that talk since the console was announced. It's about equal to a PS4. But then again, it runs Star Wars Outlaws with ray tracing. It runs Final Fantasy VII Rebirth with better visuals than the Xbox Series S. And now it's running Lies of P at 60 frames per second. I mean, now Lies of P, it came out on all platforms. It is a last gen and current gen game. Well, it's mainly a current gen game, but they did bring it to, PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. So it was not impossible for the Nintendo Switch 2, but the fact that, the Nintendo Switch 2 is getting, a decent version of this game is overall just impressive. Because remember, it's a handheld gaming console at the end of the day running on a really advanced mobile chip. But guys, I just thought this was really cool and something else I wanted to share with you guys. Let me know, have you all played through Lies of P? Do you plan on picking up the complete edition when it drops? Did you play the DLC? Talk to me down in the comments below. If y'all enjoyed today's video, smash that like. I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace out. Have a good one.